Meet Ralph and Kelly Biazze, owners of Titan Restoration. They specialize in turning worthless into worthy. With the right team and the right tools, they can make old cars better than new.
Today we're here to meet Elise Frado, the actress model that has a car that was given to her by her late aunt. She wants us to take a look at it and see what we can do for her.
So thank you guys so much for coming out today. I know it's hot, but it means a lot to me.
We are so happy to be here.
I'm Elise Frado. I'm actually a business owner. I'm a creative person. I love all things vintage. The project that I want to complete is a family car. It's a vintage Mercedes. It means a lot to me. I would love to see it come back to life. Kelly and Ralph are dear friends. They're family friends, and they're the best in the business. So if anyone can take it on, which is a lot of work, they can. It's a big project. I mean, it's in rough shape, so.
Now, what is it exactly? I haven't seen this car.
So it's a Mercedes. It's a 62, I believe. And it's a 200 SE?
It would be a 220.
A 220. See? That's why he's here.
Yes, to help you out.
You want to drive the car, or do you want to show the car? What's your intention with the car?
I would like it to be kind of an everyday driver. I don't know if that's possible.
I know exactly what to do with that.
Yeah, it's possible. So we have to do what's called a resto mod.
Okay.
So it still gets a Mercedes engine. It's just a later model fuel-injected engine.
Okay.
And if there's any problem, you can always just go to the dealer and have them service it. You don't have to go to a special mechanic, 'cause it's not an older engine. Yeah, it's all newer parts.
This is all Mercedes parts.
Wow.
Yes.
It's like a dream.
Yeah.
So you guys are promising a lot. Do you at least want to see the car?
Oh yeah, I'm concerned about the rust repair. We'll have to.
Yes.
It's
that could
very
be,
rusty.
That could make or break whether the car's doable or not doable. So we'll have to take a close look at that.
Okay. Are you guys ready to see it?
Well, it's a Mercedes.
Oh, it is. Does it run?
I don't think so. There she is.
Look at that. Oh. Oh my goodness, there's no gauges. There's no wood.
I just saw the car. Doesn't look very good. I called the flatbed. We're gonna have to get it into the shop and knock some of the grime and some of the old paint off this thing to see just how bad it is under that 30-year-old paint job.
This is a lot of work.
Yeah, this will be a challenge.
Ralph, are you up to this?
Yeah, I guess anything's possible.
This is gonna be
But,
a project.
It does have a fair amount of rust.
My husband's very optimistic. He's always like, oh, it can be done, but we have a certain amount of time that we have to get this done. So it's not gonna be a year from now, which a normal restoration of this type would take. Wow, Elise, thanks. Thank you for this project.
I tried to warn you.
The interior is easy enough. We can change that out. We can update the engine and transmission and suspension. Simple enough. But my main concern is just how much cutting of old rusty parts there's going to be in removing and rewelding.
We have to rebuild the entire interior, redo the wood, flooring, everything. It's destroyed. This isn't what she told me.
Ralph is a savant, so I feel like nobody could do it better than him. I mean, I'm fairly confident, not fairly, I'm actually really confident that he can do it.
But I have my work cut out for me. We'll put it up on the rack and we'll take a closer look at it and we'll get started on the car right away.
The 1962 Mercedes-Benz 220 SE Cabriolet belonged to a series of cars from Mercedes with the chassis code 111. They started in 1958 with a four-door sedan and later introduced a two-door coupe and cabriolet in 1961 that were made through 1971. The 111 was a full-size luxury vehicle for Mercedes, capable of holding up to 5 people. It was powered by a 2.2-liter inline 6-cylinder engine with 95 horsepower. This propelled the car to a top speed of around 100 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 time of about 14 seconds. Back in 1962, a brand new 220 SE cost approximately $8,765. Adjusting for inflation, that same car today would cost approximately $75,000.
Oh, come on, just a little spit, a little polish, some plugs, it'll run like a Swiss watch.
Nick, how are you?
I'm good, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
My name's Nick Smith, and I work for Worldwide Auctioneers as an appraiser and a specialist for the car department there. And there's always some interesting stuff kicking around with Ralph. It's never quite what it seems.
I invited Nick Smith over to appraise the car to give us kind of a baseline of what the car is now in its present state and what we can expect to achieve at the end.
Interesting starting point. What's the plan for this?
Well, I think that we're going to have to resto-mod this car.
Okay.
And the reason being is this has got old mechanical injection, no air conditioning, no heated seats, no power steering, no anything really.
It's going to have modern electrics, modern engine, modern fuel injection, modern suspension, modern brakes, and turn it into a resto mod. Because his client wants to drive it. And frankly, I love the idea. I think it's great.
My dilemma is, I mean, does it make sense? I mean, you're better at appraising these cars than I am. Well, it's important to have someone like Nick Smith come in and do an appraisal at the baseline at this stage, because it'll help you give a baseline idea of whether you should continue or it becomes a parts car or if it becomes a restoration car.
So today, I think as it sits, it's probably $6,000 worth of parts car. So it's a beautifully restored car. It could be 60, maybe as much as $70,000, $80,000. As a resto mod, it's really down to let's see the final product and see what it is and see how marketable it is. He's going to hide it. It'll look like a standard car, which has a great deal of appeal because it's a Mercedes. Looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It's one of those cars where the parts is worth more than the car.
Exactly.
The appraisal numbers I got from Nick was a little bit lower than I expected, but I understand where the numbers come from. With the car done as a resto mod with modern air conditioning and all the upgrades done to the car should bring around $120,000 to possibly $140,000. I'm hoping to exceed that number.
He may catch a little bit of a cold on this one. We'll see how it goes, but if he can do it, it'll be beautiful by the end of it.
Mercedes-Benz created 3 versions of this car that were all based on the same body: the sedan, the coupe, and the cabriolet. There were only 2,729 of the early 220 SE model cabriolets built. Ralph and Kelly have just decided to undertake a 1962 Mercedes-Benz 220 SE Cabriolet project for a family friend, and they've realized it's in desperate shape. An appraisal has revealed that an original restoration will be costly with the amount of work involved, and they will have to resto mod the car for this project to make any sense.
It's one of my favorite cars, I'll tell you that. It's just, it's in bad condition.
Yeah, it's in pretty rough shape. The only option on this car really would be a resto mod because the engine is not usable anyway. Plus, it was a 4-speed car.
It's too slow.
Well, she doesn't drive stick. We would have to convert this car to an automatic, but that'll take care of the engine portion, engine and transmission drivetrain portion of it.
Okay.
Can we move on to colors? So yeah, why don't we go back to the original Midnight Blue, code 904.
Gorgeous.
And it's a nice deep dark blue.
Now, interior. It's a convertible, so I always think let's go a little darker than lighter on the interior.
So I think that this is probably a good choice here.
And then Are you gonna upgrade the seats to the heated seats? We have to get the heated elements.
We'll figure out the budget, and if it's within budget, we'll do it.
I know Elise, and I think that
It's an
she's gonna
expensive
wanna
car.
do it. She's gonna want the best.
Okay, but realize that this is more expensive than buying a brand new car.
This is a personal car, it's a family car, it's been in our family for a long time.
Kelly and I both work at different parts of the business, but I love the fact that we can get together and come up with a solution for each project. Okay, so we'll get Pedro on the interior.
Yes,
Joel and Jeff are going to remove the engine and transmission,
yes.
so that way it's stripped of everything for the most part,
Perfect.
and it can go off to finer for paint.
Sounds good. Let me get these colors over to Pedro and talk to Joel and see what, get the schedule going. It's a resto mod, so it gives us a little bit of room.
I'll talk to the guys and we'll get it done.
Sounds good. So there's a lot of work that's gonna go into this car. It's body, paint, interior, including the resto mod. We're looking at $100,000 in this build. It's not a cheap build and it's gonna be expensive.
So the plan with the 1962 220 SE Cabriolet will be to first strip the car down and repair the body. It's going to get a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder engine. It will be restored back to its original blue color. And it's getting a new interior along with heated seats.
Well, today we've got Elise Frado's aunt's car that we brought into the shop to do some deconstruction on. So we're going to go ahead and continue taking everything that we can and figuring out what we can salvage, what we can't. Before we can do any resto mod work, we have to fix the structure of the car. To make it better than original, we at least have to make it original first and then move forward from there. So guys, what I want to do this morning is I want to start by getting everything off the front core, getting the radiator out, getting the horns out. Essentially got to take everything out of the front of this thing so we can pull the engine and transmission out.
Hi,
Hi, Annie.
how's it going?
Not bad.
You met with Nick, how'd it go?
The value of the car at the moment was like $5,000 to $7,000, basically a parts car. But moving on from there, he was saying that cosmetically restored driver would be between 60 and 80 grand.
And a resto mod costs more.
Well, I think our budget's around 100 grand.
I think for 100 grand we can do something really amazing.
So let's go over the list, basically. I mean, we've got...
I've got it already, I've got it down.
Okay.
I got it. Don't worry.
Okay. All right.
I'll get everything for you.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Then I can go back to work.
Yes, and so can I.
The E in 220 SE stands for Einspritzung, which is German for injection, and means that the car received one of the most technologically advanced engines of its time. The 220 SE was replaced by the 250 SE, which has the same body but a larger engine. Ralph and his team are tearing apart the 1962 Mercedes 220 SE Cabriolet. They still need to get the body repaired so it can be sandblasted and painted.
What do you think, Joel? The inner structure looks okay, huh? A lot of people get discouraged when they see a vehicle in this condition with this much work that's needed, but I can see beyond that. I know that we just have to put in the work, and if we put in the work, we can have a really nice car when we're done. And at the end of the day, this car actually has pretty good bones. It's got a lot of good parts that we can salvage and we can save, but there's a lot of old paint and prior body work. So I gotta strip some of this back and see if we have any holes in the body or if we have any major problems here. Now I need an air tool. So we got the interior out of Elise's 220 SE Cabriolet, and Pedro's disassembling the seats now. The condition of the seats is typical of a 50-plus-year-old car. So as soon as you start touching it, it starts breaking it apart. The padding on the inside, of course, is deteriorating and turning to powder. All that stuff needs to be completely removed from the car, and the most important thing is going to be the seat frame itself. So as long as the springs and the frame are in good condition, we can move forward from there. But Elise wanted a couple of Restomod upgrades on the car. We decided, since it's an open-top car, that we would put heated seats. Now, they never came with heated seats, so we have to add seat heating grids so she can just hit a button and have heated seats. So a lot of work goes into the restoration of one of these cars, but with Joel, Jeff, and Pedro, we can all put in the time and get the job done.
I'm excited for this project because it's something we don't normally always do, and we get to do this for a friend of mine. And it's going to be something that's fun and fresh and new.
We've made actually pretty good progress. We got the 220 SE Cabriolet back on the rack. The guys are removing the exhaust, disconnecting the transmission and steering so we can remove the engine from the bottom. There we go. That was it. Ready to go up? Up. So we got the engine and subframe out from the 220 SE. So now the engine has to be separated from the subframe. So from that point on, it can go right to the body shop. When it comes back from paint, we can start marrying the engine and transmission to the chassis again. Hi, Annie.
Hi.
Okay, so let me bring you up to speed with where we're at.
Okay.
We've got a little bit of rust repair work that has to be done. I don't have time to deal with it. It'll take up too much of my time, so I'm just going to send it out to the body shop, and they'll address that part of it before paint goes on.
Did you ask him how much it's going to cost for them
No.
to do that?
No, I didn't ask.
Ralph focuses on the car, and that's his job. But I have to focus on the finances and what everything costs, and that's my job. All right, let's just make it safe.
Yeah.
Did you get seatbelts?
We have to order seatbelts.
You always forget about the seatbelts. It's so important on this car. She's going to put her family in it.
If you want better seatbelts than what it originally came with, then we'll order the aircraft-grade seatbelts.
Please do.
Okay. All right. I'll take care of it.
Thank you, honey. I'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm visiting my friend Carl today. He's a Ferrari expert, but he happens to have a 220 SE Cabriolet at his shop at the moment that he wanted me to take a look at. So since this is the same car we're restoring for Elise, I wanted to come over and take a look at the car in person. Hey, Carl.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Mercedes?
How you doing, buddy?
What's up, man?
I've seen this one, I think, before, right?
It's from Straight Outta Compton. You see that movie yet?
This is the same car from the movie?
Exact car from the movie. My name's Carl. I own Black Horse Motors here in Los Angeles. I met Ralph 18 years ago. So he used to have a shop down in LA. He used to do like custom Mercedes work and stuff like that. Instead of just for stationary shots, I'm like, all right, cool. Then I see a preview for the movie. He's like, what? Like
Drifting the car?
drifting the car. Like, I don't think I approved that, but I love working on Ferraris because working on Fords doesn't pay as much. No, I love Ferraris. It's just they're unique cars, you know, they're pieces of art, you know. They're not mass-produced. They're fun to drive. They look great, you know. It's like I couldn't work on any other car, you know. Like,
What else you got? You got another car I can't really fit in or drive?
yeah, I just rented this one out for this remade that movie Less Than Zero.
He prepared a car for, I think for Universal Pictures for the remake of the movie Less Than Zero. They decided to use this Jaguar. So he got the car running, driving, and got it wrapped in this color so they could use it in the movie, and apparently it just got back from its tour of duty with the movie.
So this car was like buried for 40 years in the garage.
Ah, this is the one you got from the guy that
Yeah.
had all this stuff buried in in his garage.
The Ferrari, the Rolls Royces.
But you got a Mercedes over here.
Oh yeah, you like this one, Mr. Mercedes.
Yeah, I like Mercedes.
So yeah, we work together now. Like he still brings me his Ferraris. He helps me with Mercedes stuff. So we exchange. You know, we work with each other on a good basis. So this is 0001.
So this isn't a regular 300SE then. This is a prototype.
It's a prototype. It's the Paris and Brussels show car. When Mercedes rolled this out, they took it to the world stage to show it
Yeah.
off, and this is the car they showed off. But deciding if I want to restore it or not, it's a heavy restoration. Obviously,
is.
you know.
I know. Do you have pictures of it? How
Yeah.
it looked originally?
Let me go to my folder
Oh,
here.
look at that. You got the data sheet and everything.
The factory sent this photo. That's supposedly this car. So here's the build sheet for it.
The important thing is what's the VIN number? 001.
If you got any Mercedes collectors, number one.
Yeah,
There's only one of number one, so
there only should be one number one.
The key to the restoration business is you gotta be dead on perfect. You know, these cars gotta be restored exactly the way they came out of the factory, because when you go to Pebble Beach these days, you can't lose half a point, you're out. Like, it's so tight. Down to every nut and bolt is the exact nut and bolt that came off that car. It's gotta be just perfect. Like, you know, it's the only way I know how to do it. Yeah, this is the 300, you know that. That's at the
Yeah,
Goldwing
300 motor is the same engine that they use in the Goldwing.
Yep. So it's a great engine, but I'm just so busy with the Ferrari stuff, I can't.
Yeah.
You know, this car is just, I love to do it, but I just don't have the time or.
The biggest thing on this car is inventory, everything that you have, and figure out everything that you're missing. And then from there, you can basically figure out your plan of attack.
The Mercedes, I'm thinking about restoring it, but I need Ralph's help. I'm not a Mercedes guy. I don't specialize in all different cars, just Ferrari, and I'm one of the best in the world that can restore them. So just like Ralph, you know, when he does Mercedes, he does the same thing. So when he shows a car, it's got to be dead on perfect.
Carl's the type of person that would really go the extra mile to figure out how to solve a problem, no matter how difficult. And that's part of being in this business, is if you're willing to go the extra mile and really get things done, you're never going to run out of work. You're always going to be busy.
Hi, my name is Adam Fleiner, Fleiner Automotive Company. Just got a call from Ralph about a new project, a 220 SE. He wants a DB904 blue. So let's come on over here and see if we can hit the color that he wants exactly to the T. Can you pull up 904 blue for me? DB904 blue. It gives us, it's got 4 toners. T412 is what he's using right now. It tells him exactly how much to put in.
Adam Fleiner's a great addition to our team. He does all the body and paint work for us. We'll strip the car and get it ready, but he'll finish all the body work and paint. I know that he'll prep and paint the car so it looks better than it did when it was new.
So right now we'll have Oscar make a spray out of it. So we'll get your gun and we'll get going.
The 220 SE Cabriolet has appeared in popular Hollywood films, including A Fish Called Wanda, Lords of Dogtown, and The Hangover. Many recognizable stars like Billy Crystal and Arnold Schwarzenegger have owned and driven the 220 SE. The 1962 Mercedes is finally back from the shop after getting a new paint job. Ralph and his team still need to install the new engine and the new interior.
So we just got the 220 SE Cabriolet for lease back from paint. Paint looks fantastic. The color we chose was midnight blue, and we chose that color because the data plate for the car was originally this color blue. So we went back to the original color that it was when the car was new. But now we still got to put the resto-modded 3-liter engine in it, connect everything up. Peter's got to finish the interior, get that back in the car, and then we've got some chrome that's got to be placed back on the car. Bumpers, grill, all the outer trim has to be installed. All right, so Jeff, it's just back from paint, so we have to be really careful because this is really fresh paint. So what we're going to do next is we're going to have to, we'll lower it down. And we'll have to start the process of installing the engine. Which one of you guys has a belt on? You see this here?
Yeah.
You know what that's from? That's from reaching over the car without having some kind of fender protection. So anything like even these things can do it.
Oh, okay.
Don't rub it anymore. I'll have the detailer see if they can polish it out. So scratching the fender now. It has to be color sanded and polished. If it's too deep, then I have to paint the fender. So it's time and money. It happens when people are maybe not as cautious as they should be with a freshly painted car. It happens when you're under a time crunch and you're trying to get something done in a really short period of time. I can't get too upset about it. It's just, it happens, but now it's another thing I have to address. The client that owns this car wanted to be able to drive the car on a daily basis. So she opted for us to install a 3-liter with modern fuel injection and a 4-speed automatic transmission. So it's got a better cooling system, it's got electric fans, it's got air conditioning. It basically has all the creature comforts of a much newer car. You ready to test fire it?
Yeah, ready.
Oil level's good. We got to check fluids and then bleed the brakes. We try and do everything that we can and cover all our bases and check all our connections, but when you do a resto-mod or a restoration on one of these cars, there's always something that you may have to check twice, and it doesn't always mean that it's going to start on the first try. Do we have oil pressure? Yeah. 9 times out of 10 is just it's a connection that we overlooked that just needs to be reconnected.
Now?
Now we'll keep our fingers crossed that hopefully it'll start.
Hands off, Jeff.
Oh, there we go. Good.
Good, Ralph.
All right. When we get a car started, it's usually Joel that's the most excited when the car starts. He takes a lot of pride in the fact that it's alive and went from an inanimate object to a vehicle that starts and runs. I don't know which one's more exciting, seeing the car start or watching Joel's reaction when the car starts. Good. Now we'll bleed the brakes and we can wrap up the engine part. Then we can move over to, we'll have Pedro finish putting the seats in the car. Well, the remaining steps is the interior has to be put in, windshield has to be put in, all the rest of the chrome trim, bumpers, headlights, grills, All that stuff has to be put on the car before the car can be ready, but now we have an issue where we have to fix the scratch on the fender, so it delays our delivery process. The interior of the 220 SE is now going back together. Pedro and Jeff are doing the final assembly of the interior. So they're going to put the seats back in, put the door panels, the carpets back in, attach the seat belts. So we did 2 low back bucket seats in the front and a bench seat in the back. So she should have pretty comfortable seating for 5 in the vehicle with the seat configuration that's in there now. The 220 SE is now going back together. The outside of the body, we've got to get headlights installed and wired up. We've got to install bumpers and the rest of the chrome trim on the outside of the vehicle. And then we should be pretty close to test drive. We put a lot of hard work into this car, but I think she's going to be really happy with the end result. We're happy with the car, and I'm sure she will as well.
The 1962 Mercedes-Benz 220 SE Cabriolet is all put back together. It received a new 3-liter inline 6-cylinder engine. It was restored to its original blue color. And it got a new interior and heated seats.
Penny.
All right, I got the tally on the car of what we spent.
Uh-oh. Should I sit down?
With Fleiner doing the rust repair, because I don't know what you said to him, but he lowered his price a bit. Our total is $98,362.52.
So we didn't go over budget.
We didn't, but
Just,
we're
just
right there.
So there's lunch money left over in that budget.
Right.
All right. Well, Kelly didn't respond well to the grand total because although we were still under budget by $3.48, I think, approximately, we still would like to make sure that the client gets something that's worth what they put in the car. We'd like to see as much added value to the car as we can. Well, the good news is it's done. Now we just have to hopefully wait until Nick Smith comes in and gives us the appraisal on the car in its current condition as a resto mod.
Well, I hope it's over $100,000 or else I will feel really awful. Nate Smith said that the car was only worth, 60 to 80, but hopefully now that he sees it all done, it's gonna be great and it will be worth a lot more. So you just do the best you can and you have to see what the critics come back and the experts say that it's worth.
I can't believe that this one's done.
Yeah, you remember this car?
I do.
It was red before.
It was. Wow.
Let me pop the hood.
So Ralph called me up because he's finally finished the, as much as I hate to use the word, resto mod, and has done a fabulous job of it.
Did you see what we added? She wanted heated seats, so we put heated
Nice.
seats in for her.
Nice.
She wanted air conditioning. She wanted a Becker-looking radio, but it's actually a Bluetooth modern radio that looks like the old Becker radio. We did the 3-liter conversion on this car, so it's got a late model 3-liter engine in it. Obviously, Mercedes-Benz factory aluminum radiator, electric fans, hydraulic motor mounts. I get carried away and I could easily spend $100,000 more than I should for a car. And Nick has been the voice of reason for many years, preventing me from doing that so I can stay in business. The whole purpose of this is so that driving down the road, it looks stock, but driving down the road, it actually goes down the road. Now
Yeah,
with the 4-speed automatic
Yeah.
and the proper gearing and the proper brakes, it actually goes pretty good. Now the question is, how did we do? Without me telling you how much we spent on the car?
I dread to think. That I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I think in the right environment, to the right buyer, you're probably going to realize 150, maybe 160 for the car.
Nick came up with a number between 150 and 160,000. We're happy with that number. Okay.
I mean, it's done to the nines. It's absolutely glorious, and it's tastefully done. And what he's done is very tastefully done. It's very intricately done and very sympathetically done to the original car. It's a pretty special car he's built here. Great job, Ralph.
Thank you for coming by.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
Can I buy you a cappuccino?
I would love a cappuccino. Can we take this?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do that.
The 1962 Mercedes-Benz 220 SE Cabriolet is finished and has appraised for more than Ralph thought it would. Now it's time to hand the car back to the client.
So Ralph and Kelly told me to come by today. They told me my car was done. I'm really excited to see it.
Come on
ready?
around.
You
I
ready to
think
see your car all
so.
geared
I
up?
think I'm ready. I'm nervous.
Are you ready to see your car geared up?
Oh my God! Oh my God! That is not the same car. That is not the same car.
Come and look.
It's so beautiful! Oh my God! This isn't the same car.
This
Yeah.
is it.
This is a joke.
No,
Oh my
this is what you asked for. What do you think of the color?
I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect. I love it. Can I sit in it? Is it mine?
When Elise saw it, I thought she was gonna cry. She was thrilled. She had a smile from ear to ear.
Now this is a 3-liter motor, a late model Mercedes engine. So it's got modern air conditioning, modern aluminum radiator, modern electric fans, modern disc brakes, and it's all Mercedes parts. So it's not a problem getting parts for it.
God, so I could literally service it
Yeah,
anywhere.
Yeah, it's still Mercedes.
Oh my
It's just a
God.
modern Mercedes engine. There's no valve adjustment needed. There's no carburetors to adjust. There's no mechanical injection. It's all electronic ignition, all electronic fuel injection. Makes it real easy.
Blown away.
All right, let's go inside. Come inside, because I know you're waiting to sit inside the car.
Oh my gosh. Ralph and Kelly exceeded my expectations. I mean, literally, the car is perfection.
Now take a look. What we've done is you have your seat heaters here, so you can turn them on, and you have your seat heaters when it's cool. You have your radio, so you can listen to your Pandora on your Bluetooth like you wanted.
It's crazy.
You just crank it, and you are ready to go. You want to turn it on, see how it sounds?
Yes.
Go
I
ahead.
do.
This is yours now. Look at the wood.
Oh my God.
I know,
Oh
it
my
just
God.
purrs.
It's so perfect.
I know, it just hums.
I love it.
Yes,
It's just
air
perfect.
conditioning, everything that you ever wanted.
It feels great to know that a client is pleased with the work that we did on their car. It's a great feeling because it makes you feel like maybe you actually did your job, and you did it well. It's important that you did the job well, and it's important that you get some feedback that you've done a good job. So there was a little mishap during the assembly of the car where the fender got scratched by a belt buckle possibly, but we did already get that corrected. So there's no blemish on the car at this point. So she was very happy with the car. She walked around and inspected it with my wife, and the car is spot on. It really looks good. And by her reaction, I can tell she really loved the color of the car and all the chrome work and bright work and all the leather work that went into the car. Really came out nice, and she's really happy with the car.
I mean, it's got everything. All the gauges work now. You got a full tank of gas. We're ready to go.
A real car.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a real car.
beautiful.
Yeah, where do you want to go?
Thank you. You guys are the best. I can't thank you enough.
Thanks. Okay.
It's completely comfortable. It's smooth. It feels new. This car is amazing. It's elegant, it's classy. If my aunt were to see it today, she would be thrilled. She'd be so proud that I actually took care of it. Driving the car was a blast. I mean, it was just exhilarating, and everyone was looking and got a lot of attention.
Well, Elise and I just have fun. So to be able to cruise on Sunset and know that we're gonna go out like on Friday nights and cruise in that car, it's beautiful. We had a blast.
Meet Ralph and Kelly Bianze, owners of Titan Restoration. They specialize in turning worthless into worthy. With the right team and the right tools, they can make old cars better than new